Whether you've been looking to start journaling for the first time ever, or you're looking for a way just to rekindle that journaling excitement, today's beginner guide is going to be everything that I wish I would have known and that I've learned along the way in my journaling process in hopes that it'll help you find your own journey and path as well. I first started my journaling journey about 6 years ago when I was suffering from really bad health anxiety, and journaling was one of the single most important things, a part of my process that helped me to eventually overcome that. And now today, I use journaling across all kinds of platforms for multiple things. And a lot of the comments I get is, well, what if I don't know what to write? Or what if somebody finds my journal and reads it? I don't know what I'll do if that happens. Finding things to write. There are lots of great prompts out there or things you can do. And some of the journals that I'm going to be talking about here in just a second, you don't even have to think about what you're going to write. It's just naturally going to come, or it's going to happen as we move forward. And if you are really that afraid of somebody finding out what you write, maybe when you start off, you don't necessarily write things down that you would be afraid for other people to read, at least not in the beginning until you become more comfortable with it. Now, when you do decide that you want to get started with journaling, the first thing you need to do is have a good set of tools. And for journaling, thankfully, that is just something to write things down with, such as a pen or pencil, and literally a notebook. You could also go a digital route, and there are lots of different journaling apps that you can get. Honestly, things like Apple Notes or Obsidian or just writing apps, even Google Docs would be a place that you could put some types of journaling. Now, what I'm holding here actually is a pocket notebook setup. I'm a big fan of the brand Field Notes when it comes to doing pocket notebooks, just because I really love the covers of their journals. I think they look cool, and for me, being aesthetically pleasing with my journal experience is something that's important to me, down to how well does the ink write, how well does the paper actually receive the ink, does it bleed through, lots of questions like that. Now, for you, what I would recommend is starting simple with just finding a nice journal. I personally liked name brand journals like Moleskine, Field Notes, Lockerbie, because I feel like the paper quality is really nice. My bullet journal that I have here is actually by Lecterm. They're a German company, so this is the actual bullet journal method bullet journal, but we'll get more into that in just a minute. And then you also need to think about what style of journaling you're going to do. So once you have everything in place, do you want to do daily reflections and think about things like gratitude? Do you want to do more of like a bullet journal method where you're actually planning out your days and weeks? Not necessarily a planner, but a way to track things like habits or different hobbies that you're working on or projects or different areas of your life like that. My pocket notebook is one of my favorites because it's what's referred to as a commonplace notebook. I like to call it my brain dump because I literally can carry this in my pocket. So if I didn't want to carry this pocket journal with me, I could actually take my pocket notebook out. This thing is super thin, so this literally does fit anywhere in your pocket. You could take it with you anywhere you go. And this is a great resource to write down tasks or notes. I take it with me when I'm in meetings at work, and I write down different notes that I can take back to my office. I just find it a more professional way to go about note-taking or writing down tasks versus being on my phone or a laptop. I also find it way less distracting. And if neither of those options are really what you're looking for, you can actually do a traditional journal or diary. So I do all three. And in my traditional journal, this is where I get a little bit deeper with my thoughts. I get a little bit more personal with things. This is something you could keep somewhere safe, like literally in a safe or hidden away in your home. It could be something that you just carry with you at all times. But I find that having a way to write down deeper thoughts and really think about things is a great way to reflect, find peace and clarity. One of the things I do is things that bother me, especially in things that are going on in the world or things that are out of my control. If they're really just floating around in my mind, to get those thoughts out, I'll put them on a piece of paper and I'll just kind of forget about it. And if I do start thinking about it again, I can go back and read what I wrote before and reflect on that, maybe extend on it and talk about how things are going now, and it really helps me get through. This is the journaling method that I use to get through health anxiety, and I thought that I would never get away from the horrors that I faced through my years experiencing health anxiety, and it took about a year and a half to really get from when it started to getting out of it, and I owe almost everything to journaling. And really, all you got to do is just start. Don't make a big commitment. One rule that I have for myself is if I miss a day journaling in any of my journals, That's okay. I don't discipline myself or get upset because I miss a day. And that was one of the problems I had early on is I thought that I literally, when I started a journal, I had to get it every single day or at least a few times a week. But there was times I had gaps that were like a month long. And then when I'd come back to my journal, I'd be in a different mindset or something would change in life. And it didn't really sync up. So then I would start a new journal and then I would do the same thing over and over again. And it really wasn't until somebody gave me permission to just journal when I need it or journal when I want to, not force it on myself or make it a chore, did it become something that was more for me and that I actually enjoy doing. It's at the point now where I don't even have to think about it. I know when it's time to write, and it's just like something tells me, and I open up the book and I just start writing. And that's how it'll work for you as well. And what I would recommend is start with about 2 to 5 minutes a day. You could start early in the morning and write down some gratitude or just things you want to accomplish throughout the day. And then of the evening, take a couple of minutes or so just to reflect on that day. It doesn't have to be a lot, and you just write until you don't need to write anymore. Don't force it out. Just whatever's in your mind, put that onto paper as you need to, and that's it. That's an effective journaling cycle. And as far as remaining consistent with it and being successful at this, keep your journals in reach. That's one of the biggest things I can say. And one of the reasons I love carrying a pocket journal around is because it's always on me. So if there's ever a time that I need to write something or I'm thinking of something, I at least have either one of my smaller journals or something with me. And one thing you can do is you can use a pocket journal as a way to capture a lot of thoughts or tasks or what have you until you can get back to one of your larger journals. Obviously, I'm not going to carry this around everywhere that I go, but something like this, or even taking the notebook out of its sleeve and slipping into my pocket, is something I could literally have anywhere. I don't have to worry about cell phone service. I don't have to worry about getting a call in the middle of writing something or it distracting me from whatever moment that I'm in. I can literally just be writing things down. So keeping your notebooks in your reach is going to be one of the biggest things you can do to keep yourself motivated and successful at this. Think outside of the box, get as creative as you want, and most importantly, just have fun. But I hope you took something that you could use out of today's video. And as always, be sure to create something new today.